Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today we will discuss various scenarios being explored by the US while it prepares to leave Afghanistan. As it exits Afghanistan, the US is reportedly planning to establish its military bases in the neighboring countries. The idea is to enable the American forces quick reaction facility in case of any emergency need in Afghanistan. This has already created a controversy in Pakistan. Now Taliban has issued a warning to Afghanistan's neighbors against hosting any American bases. In the agenda today, we will deliberate on this matter to understand it and its implications. We have with us retired Major General Ashwani Sivach, and from Kabul, we are joined by Sher Shah Nawabi, head of APN News Group. But before we start our conversation, have a look at this small report.
Even as the US has announced that it will pull out all its troops from Afghanistan by September 11, it is reportedly looking at ways to ensure security of its interest in Afghanistan, besides some other critical needs of the warring country. The concerns are on account of the prospect that the extremist troop Taliban may endanger the safety of assets and diplomats of the US and other countries. In view of these concerns, the US is reportedly looking to establish military bases in the neighboring countries of Afghanistan. This has angered the Taliban, which has warned Afghanistan's neighbors and regional countries of consequences if they host American bases. In a statement, it said, if such an action were taken, it will be a great historic mistake and disgrace that will forever be marked as a dark stain in history. The US is withdrawing all its troops from Afghanistan after nearly 20 years under the deal signed with the Taliban in February last year. The US had sent tens of thousands of its troops to Afghanistan in October 2001 following the September 11 aerial terror attacks in New York and Washington. But while it is withdrawing its troops from Afghanistan, the US will be deploying troops to ensure protection of the Kabul International Airport, since it has critical importance not only for America but other nations having diplomatic presence in Afghanistan. Bureau Report.
Let's welcome our guests, Major General Ashwani Sivach and Sher Shah Nawabi from Kabul. Welcome to the program, both of you. So let me first go to Sher Shah Nawabi about the US plans to establish military bases around Afghanistan. What do you think is the purpose? Why does America need the bases as it leaves Afghanistan?
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to discuss this issue. Yesterday, Taliban spokesman Zabullah Mujahid launched a newsletter and stating that if any neighboring country would give any base to US would be punished, and the Taliban wouldn't just stay undelighted by this issue. So by reaching this thing, the first issue that US wants that the bases should be launched in Pakistan is that actually is still US don't want to leave a strategic position that in past 20 years the country has fight against terrorist groups, and at the same time as US has its traditional enemies such as Russia, such as China. So having a base in the regional countries and close to these countries are more important to them. So that's why the major factor is that US is looking to launch its bases in the Pakistan soil. And according to the history of Pakistan, unfortunately, from the era of Soviets until now, we have seen that Pakistan has misused all the supports that are given by Pakistan. So the word that we can use, the term that we can use in here is actually that US, Pakistan is a country which always benefits from the conditions in Afghanistan. So
But
for that case,
yeah,
the new issue which has been released and the media has already discussed on it is this, that US has used already Pakistan treaty and military bases when they were present in Afghanistan, and at the same time after withdrawing from Afghanistan, they would once again use Pakistan's treaty to launch its special operation in the region.
so why is Taliban perturbed if military bases are established outside Afghanistan? Why should Taliban worry about it?
The major fact the Taliban are now looking for it is this, that actually they have fought for 20 years against the Afghan forces, against their people, and now they are just a kind of anonymous forces. None of the Afghan citizens want them. So a kind of hate has been made in here against the Taliban, the first issue. And in past 20 years, Pakistan was the country that in every speech, every meeting that the Taliban had with them, it was the main issue that you should just be clear that it's a holy jihad for them. And now Taliban knows that it's just a blame game, also a bloodshed game for them. So that's why they have shown their reaction on this issue. At the same time, the Taliban, according to documents that we have, the Taliban believes that if Pakistan would do such a thing in the region, because it's an Islamic country, so those groups of the people who are who had attended the war of Afghanistan, especially the terror groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Lashkar-e-Jaish Muhammad, and also some other groups would stand with them and also launch their own attacks against Pakistan.
Right.
So now the analysts in Afghanistan believe that the way of paradigm has been opened the gateway from Pakistan, because in the past 20 years Pakistan was just pursuing and also urging the elder and the young generation of Afghanistan to make them suicide bombers and launch attacks.
Right. So, General Sivaj, I come to you. Heard Sher Shah Nawabi, what he was talking about Taliban and all. So, how do you think? Why do you think the US needs bases around Afghanistan?
Again, you see, you have to see this in a larger context. What happened is that the Americans have already made up their mind that by 11 September they are going to vacate Afghanistan. If you remember, the Donald Trump has done this peace deal on 29 February 2020. It had some conditionality. It said that there will be a peace talk which will be there between Afghanistan and also Taliban, and the violence will be also reduced, and there will be a ceasefire. So the negotiations were going on, but the moment Joe Biden administration has come, they have now given a deadline that they will go from Afghanistan by 11 September. They have not put any conditionality. So the Taliban is not under pressure to negotiate with Afghan government. The violence level has not reduced, and the violence level has in fact increased now. There is already a summer offensive which is taking place. There is no ceasefire which has taken place. So what it looks like that America knows it. The moment they vacate Afghanistan on 11 September, there will be a civil war type of situation, and Afghanistan civil army air force will not able to handle the pressure of Taliban, and there is a chances of they buckling down. In that scenario, they need that they should able to at least force the Afghan forces by having a basis very close by Afghanistan. Now, this is the main thing which they are trying to do. So they want a basis in one of the neighboring countries around Afghanistan, and these are the 6 countries, basically Turkestan, Tajikistan, and Turkestan and China, Iran and Pakistan. So obviously it is Pakistan where they are likely to have their bases, because the talks are already going, which has started going on between the NSA of Pakistan, that Mohid Yusuf,
But Pakistan
as
has,
well as
but
Jack
Pakistan has
Sullivan.
denied. Pakistan has denied that they will offer any bases there.
No, I know, but there is some sense in this madness. The point is that Pakistan stands to gain tremendously. Pakistan wants to make use of this situation. Pakistan knows that the situation, you see, Pakistan is actually part of a problem, not part of solution. So they know now America is going out, and this is an offer which is given by America, and they will take the best out of from America. 2-3 things they will do it. The one is that the security aid which was being denied to them for last about 3-4 years during Donald Trump, that should start. The second thing which is very important is the Financial Action Task Force. The chances of putting them in a black or coming out of grey list, America can play a very major role. In case America can impress upon 10 to 12 states which are totally dependent on US, they can even come out of a grey list. So overall, America has putting pressure on Pakistan, but indirectly Pakistan, in case if they give some sort of basis to America, in return they will try to ask for many favors from America. So it can happen. This may looks to be, as on today, a possibility, a very distant possibility. But as the situations are unfolding and things are moving very fast in Afghanistan, there can be a possibility, because Pakistan is a playmaster. Pakistan will know how do you get the best of today America, because Pakistan wants to gain support from China as well as from US, because Pakistan is feeling that there is a tremendous financial crunch which is going on. Today they need America, and in case they can get some aid and support, and they can be helped out to be taken out from Financial Action Task Force, there can be a possibility. We cannot totally rule out.
So, Shersha, I come to you. As General Sam mentioned about that there could be a possibility of civil war. Do you think there will be a civil war after Americans leave?
According to the history that we have, the major issue of civil war in Afghanistan was that on the 90s, the major issue was that major generation on that time were unilliterate people. So they were not well known about the reading and writing, and they didn't just analyze the conditions. But now the generation has changed, and the country has changed. Fortunately, we have a national force. At that time, during the 1990s, the forces that were fighting for the Afghan government, they were just a part of the force that they were communists, and they belonged to a political party.
Right.
So now there is nothing like that, and the condition has changed in Afghanistan. There is nothing to have some concerns of the civil war. Yeah, the civil war that currently the world is mentioning in Afghanistan, it's war between the Taliban and war between the other resistance group that would possibly stand against the Taliban, because still they feel the new generation who are based in Afghanistan, who lives in Afghanistan, they're in this thought that currently Taliban are puppets, and they are just fighting for the benefit of Pakistan. It's the first issue. The second issue is this, that Taliban believes that they are the majority of a big tribe, a respected tribe in Afghanistan, which is called Pashtun. But when we speak as a journalist with the Pashtun, we have some Pashtun brothers with ourselves that they are working, they are fighting against this kind of thinking. They say that Pashtuns are not a group that belongs to Taliban. Taliban are puppets. So
Right.
The possibility of internal war is so less.
We are discussing about the situation in Afghanistan and America's plans to set up bases around Afghanistan after they leave. So, Sher Shah Nawabi, we are talking about the Taliban role, and as you mentioned very importantly that there is a difference about the situation that existed in 90s and right now, as you mentioned very rightly, that now there is an Afghan National Defense Force which is fighting for Afghanistan as a country, not as for some leader, clan leader or something. But at the same time, do you think, because we have seen reports that Taliban has made lot of progress and lot of surge in many areas like Logar, maybe in the various other provinces, they have captured so many districts also. So do you think Afghan National Defense Forces are capable of containing that or countering that surge by Taliban? Because we know that it is a Taliban is a proxy of Pakistan, so you are basically fighting a proxy war with Pakistan. What do you say, Sher Shah?
Unfortunately, the war in Afghanistan, a part of this war that we are facing, is a kind of propaganda war. It's just psyops, nothing more. Because currently, that I am speaking with you today, around 50 Taliban fighters were killed during the face-to-face war by the Afghan forces. At the same time, yesterday, around 280 Taliban fighters were killed and injured only in 11 provinces of Afghanistan. And at the same time, yesterday night, actually, the Afghan AK forces or the Afghan special forces were able to release at least 64 prisoners, including 34 military personnel who were hostages of the Taliban and their province and their prison in Baghdad. So this shows that this war that we are facing is just kind of propaganda the Taliban are launching. And unfortunately, our neighboring country is supporting this war. So for us, there is no concern because we believe on our forces. And when you see the ground, yeah, we still have threats. There are some threats that possibly we would face some kind of targeted killings, some kind of brutal acts that are mostly terrorist acts. But the issue that the Taliban are so gaining the ground, well, it's a kind of propaganda against the Afghan forces. And because I'm saying this, that currently in the Afghan forces, if you see, all tribes are participating. Even we have some Hindus that right now they are fighting for the fate of Afghanistan. And recently, or making a good coordination with the Hindu respected of Afghanistan, President Ghani has ordered mark a day in the calendar of Afghanistan to mark the holy day of Hindus officially. So
Right.
this means that now the situation has changed, now the generation has changed, and now the thoughts has changed, and we don't have any concerns because whenever we speak with even with those people who are in the villages, what is your preparation for the war? So they believe that after this, they wanted Taliban to come as they were able to occupy Afghanistan in 1995. So
Right.
everything is clear, and the full trust we have with full faith. The Afghan forces are fighting, and they're defeating Taliban in everywhere. Even we have in 21 provinces war, but in 21 provinces the Taliban are defeated. But even in the last, the Afghan forces were able to kill at least 180 Pakistani commandos that they were participating in the war in Helmand. So
Right,
it's
Helmut.
completely finalized that you're not, and we can just uh, stick against the Taliban.
Right. So, General Sivaj, I come to you. As you heard that, as Nawabi mentioned, about so many 230 Pakistani commandos participating in this war. As we know, the Taliban is a proxy, and Pakistan is fighting this war against Afghanistan through proxy, and also with sending their own troops also. So, in that, as he mentioned, that Afghan national forces are fighting very bravely, and we believe that. We have seen the reports how bravely they are fighting. But do you think they need to be equipped with more, more strategy-wise? They should be helped, or military training-wise, or otherwise they should be helped. India should play a role in that, General Sivaj.
Yeah, first of all, Ajay, there is no doubt Afghan security forces is come up long way. They are better trained, more motivated, more disciplined. There is no doubt. At most of the places, they are taking on Taliban themselves. But what is the basic cutting edge is the air power which is there of U.S. in Afghanistan, sir. That is air drones and many other aircraft which are basically able to destroy the bases of Taliban. Now, if Americans are gone, then if these bases are not there, if they are not able to use the drones, and if they do not have a financial support, remember today there is a requirement of $4 billion aid which is being given every year by U.S. to Afghanistan to fight this war, and there is about $80 billion spent only on the military equipment. So therefore, the two things are very important. In case the U.S. goes out on 11 September, in case they keep on providing them a financial support and the air power, because this is what it is required. That's why the America is looking for the basis. Then the Afghan security forces will be able to take on Taliban. Remember, Al-Qaeda and Islamic State are also a very big threat. They have also not been neutralized.
Right.
So the question today is that the Afghan security forces, National Army has come a long way. Right. They are a better trained, equipped, motivated, but they need an air support
air
which
support,
is there in terms of air power.
Yeah.
Now, question comes is as to how India can now support.
Yeah, briefly,
remember,
we have to close briefly, yeah.
So India has a very important role. See, India, the biggest problem is that Pakistan wants to make sure that India should not have any role in Afghanistan. Jalalabad and Herat consulate has been also closed.
That we know. But what can India do briefly, because we have to close?
India can do in terms of giving them a more weapon and equipment to the Afghan government, more training of their manpower, and this is what it is, can be done. More financial support which is can given through the Chabar. We don't have to depend through the Pakistan. So Afghanistan knows that India can support them, and whatever economic activities which are doing in Afghanistan must continue. Second thing, provide them much more assistance in terms of army equipment, and give them artillery guns which they are asking for. Give them more helicopters. Then third thing which requires training to be done in India, both of the officer as well as the men, and also a logistic supply chain to be given through Chabar, going to Afghanistan and going to Central Asian states. Right. Therefore, India can play a very major role once the Americans have pulled out on 11 September.
Right. So India has a big role to play if India plays that role. So because we have to strengthen the Afghan National Defense Forces and the elected government of Afghanistan. But as of now, this time of this program is over. Thank you both of you for participating in this debate. This is all in the agenda today. Dear viewers, the agenda from June 2nd, that is next Wednesday, will be telecast at 6 p.m. instead of 8 p.m. So meanwhile, I'll be back with another important and interesting topic tomorrow. Till then, take care and stay safe. Goodbye.